Part 6 of the Twitter threads. Ready? Between January 2020 and November 2022, there were over 150 emails the FBI and former Twitter trust and safety chief, Yoel Roth, between them. We've showed you Yoel Roth before. Now he's afraid for his life. Some are mundane, like San Francisco agent Elvis Chan wishing Roth a happy new year, along with a reminder to attend one quarterly call next week. Others are requests for information into Twitter users related to active investigations. So that's more of their friendly relationship with the FBI and the higher-ups at Twitter. But a surprisingly high number of requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. This is kind of mind-blowing, that part. The FBI social media, I'll show you, we're going to show you it. The FBI social media focused task force, known as FTIF, or fuckheads, created in the wake of 2016 elections, swelled to 80. So they had 80 agents monitoring Twitter for jokes they didn't like. You think I'm kidding? That 80 FBI agents, they're getting dental so they can peruse fucking Twitter all day. That's what they're doing with your tax dollars.
Well, do you think they have to show like numbers of, because the low follower count, the ones I saw them, they censor them. Do you think they have to like, look, I got this many censored?
Yes, just like a cop writes parking tickets. Yeah. You mean like that?
Yeah.
You have a quota? Yeah.
But much less valuable than a cop doing that, yeah.
Federal intelligence and law enforcement reach into Twitter. Their reach into Twitter included the Department of Homeland Security, which partnered with security contractors and think tanks to pressure Twitter to moderate content. It's no secret that government analyzes bulk data for all sorts of purposes, everything from tracking terror suspects to making economic forecasts. The Twitter files show something new. Agencies like the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security regularly sending social media content to Twitter through multiple entry points pre-flagged for moderation. So all that means is the FBI was on the regular sending shit to Twitter and saying, take this down, censor this. And who did the work? The FBI did the work, and we're giving you an order. Go ahead.
It's not censorship if it's not the government. It was the government. It's been the government the whole time.
It's been the government. What stands out is the sheer quantity of reports from the government. Some are aggregated from public hotlines. So here it says, Election Day protocol for FBI headquarters is to stand up a national election command post, which provides a centralized location for assessing election-related threats. Status reports and complaints are tracked. Have a tip, send it in. So what stands out is the sheer quantity of reports from the government. Some are aggregated from public hotlines. So they would just you could call them, you could call the FBI's hotline, and the FBI would call Twitter and say, fucking take down this thing.
See something, censor something.
An unanswered question, do agencies like the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security do in-house flagging work themselves, or do they farm it all out? You have to prove to me that inside the effing government, you can do any kind of massive data or AI search, says one former intelligence officer. Hello, Twitter contacts. The master canine quality of the FBI's relationship with Twitter comes through. So he's calling it like a dog and its master. That Twitter was like the dog and the FBI is the master. It comes through in this November 2022 email in which the FBI San Francisco is notifying you it wants action on 4 accounts. That's from Fred, FBI San Francisco. It says, FBI San Francisco is notifying you of the below accounts, which may potentially constitute violations of Twitter's terms of service for any action or inaction deemed appropriate within Twitter policy. And then they give you the 4, there's the 4 accounts. This is what the FBI is doing all day. Twitter personnel in that case went on to look for reasons to suspend all 4 of those accounts. So FBI says to suspend these accounts, and then the people at Twitter go, let's find a reason to suspend them. The FBI wants them suspended. And they do. And they, from one of the accounts, was of someone called @Froma, and all those the tweets were jokes. You want to see the? I want to remind Republicans to vote tomorrow, Wednesday, November 9th. That's obviously a joke. That's the kind of stuff.
Look at the engagement of it. 25 likes, 3 retweets.
This is the kind of stuff that the FBI would flag. Just to show the FBI can be hyper-intrusive in both directions, they also asked Twitter to review a blue-leaning account for a different joke. Except here it was even more obvious that Claire Foster, PhD, who kids a lot, was kidding. You want to see it? Here it is. So here's the thing that says, take this tweet down by this lady. And then here's Dr. Foster. I'm a ballot counter in my state. If you're not wearing a mask, I'm not counting your vote. Safety first. For every negative comment on this post, I'm adding another vote for the Democrats. Those are obvious jokes.
You know, the first one was not an obvious joke to me because people are that crazy on there that they
I would agree with you.
Would say that. The second one, oh, I see it's a joke now.
Yeah.
The first one's like not a great, it's just like a lie. It's not really a great joke.
But look at the engagement, right? Okay. Matt Taibbi says, anyone who cannot discern obvious satire from reality has no place making decisions for others or working for the feds, said Claire Foster, PhD, when told about the flagging.
Or maybe they have no business flagging jokes.
Yes.
How about feds shouldn't their sense of humor should not be the...
Yeah, you shouldn't have to pass a litmus test if you have a sense of humor to go censor somebody's joke. How about no censoring?
How about the government's not, I thought isn't allowed to do that, and that's what you all harped on.
That's what I thought. Of the 6 accounts mentioned in the previous 2 emails, all but 2 were suspended. In an internal email from November 5th, 2022, the FBI's National Election Command Post, which compiles and sends on complaints, sent the San Francisco field office a long list of accounts that they may warrant additional action. Look at all these freaking accounts they sent. By the way, number 20 on the list? What is number 20? Number 20? Billy Baldwin.
What did Billy Baldwin say?
What did he say?
Something about Jesus.
Something about Jesus and abortion. So here it is. Here's all of them, and hear them say, hey, we want you to take these down. Agent Chan passed the list on to his Twitter folks. So it says, hang on. It says, please see below the list of Twitter accounts which we believe are violating your terms of service by disseminating false information about time, place, or manner of upcoming elections. Let us know if you decide to take any actions against these accounts based on our tipper to you. Also, let us know if we need to issue a preservation letter, as we intend to serve legal process for these accounts. What in the F?
Well, he included his pronouns. That's pretty cool.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh my God.
He should have put him first. That's the only exception I would take to it, but...
So he says, Twitter then replied with its list of actions taken. Note, mercy shown to actor Billy Baldwin, because he's not on the list again. So it's like he somehow got left off that list. Many of the above accounts were satirical in nature, nearly all, with the exception of Baldwin and the RSB network, were relatively low engagement, and some were suspended, most with a generic thanks Twitter letter. Okay. When told of the FBI flagging, Lex Atola replied, my thoughts initially include one, seems like prima facie. What does that mean? A prima facie First Amendment violation. What does prima facie mean? Holy cow, me, an account with that reach of an amoeba. What else are they looking at? So that's what this guy thought. Like, they're looking at me. I have no reach. I can't believe the FBI is policing jokes on Twitter. That's crazy, said Tiberius. A letter, is that my nephew? Tiberius 444. It wasn't that his handle? That can't be. It can't be.
Prima facie is a Latin expression meaning at first sight or based on first impression.
Yeah,
oh,
it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Facie?
No, it's prima facie. You think it's Faci?
I say prima Fauci.
Facie.
It's prima Fonzie, I call it.
You think it's prima facie?
If I'm looking at the way that's pronounced right there. Can you see it? is that?
Prima facie. See the
Facie?
E? You see the A at the end? That E on with the thing on the top of it? How do you pronounce that?
That's a E.
It's like a long E?
Uh-huh.
Oh, really? I'm going to get...
Why don't you just have her say it to you?
Hey, Siri, how do you pronounce prima facie? Oh. There's a video. I don't know why Siri didn't talk to me.
We are looking at this Latin expression, meaning on its first encounter or at first sight. The literal translation would be at first face or at first appearance. We are looking at how to pronounce in English or American. This is normally pronounced prima facie.
Prima facie?
Prima facie. I watch Boston Legal. Not Fauci. It's prima facie. I was right. Thank you. Thank you. No one congratulating me for being right. They still think I'm wrong. That's the problem here. They still think I have it mispronounced.
We don't. We're really proud
In
of
a
the
letter,
pronunciation
in
that
a
you
letter
provided.
in a letter to former Deputy General Counsel and former top FBI lawyer Jim Baker on September 6, 2022. These are recent. Legal executive Stasia Cardil outlines results from her soon-to-be weekly meeting with the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. What in the fuck is going on at Twitter?
You know, Jimmy, prima facie. I think all those departments should have their fucking funding cut.
I hope they do. The Twitter executive writes she explicitly asked if there were impediments to the sharing of classified information with industry. The answer, FBI was adamant no impediments to sharing existed. This passage underscores the unique one big happy family vibe between Twitter and the FBI. With what other firm would the FBI blithely agree to no impediments to classified information? Holy shit. At the bottom of that letter, she lists a series of escalations apparently raised at the meeting, which were already handled. About one, she writes, flagged a specific tweet on Illinois use of modems to transmit election results in possible violations of the civic integrity policy. Another internal letter from January 2021 shows Twitter executives processing an FBI list of possible violative content tweets. And there it is. Okay. Here, too, most tweets contained the same get out there and vote Wednesday trope that had low engagement. This is what the FBI spends its time on. So it's another one of these... Get out and vote on Wednesday. So that's another
Maybe they just hate hack jokes.
Maybe they don't like hack jokes at the FBI.
Maybe, all right.
In this March 2021 email, an FBI liaison thanks a senior Twitter executive. You know how hard it is for me not to say FBI lesbian? Every time I read the word liaison. An FBI liaison thanks a senior Twitter executive for the chance to speak to you and the team, then delivers a packet of products.
Products are what? People to be censored?
Yes.
Great.
The executive circulates the products, which are really Department of Homeland Security bulletins stressing the need for greater collaboration between law enforcement and private sector partners. And there it is. There it is. It says, please see the products the FBI Office of Public Sector just provided to us. Please feel free to share these with your teams. Russian malign influence, use of permissive... So this all garbage. The ubiquity of the 2016 Russian interference story as stated pretext for building out the censorship machine can't be overstated. So what he's saying is they were using the idea that Russia hacked our election to do all this censoring. He said that can't be overstated. Russia didn't hack our election. That didn't happen.
We'll see how he said it's analogous to how 9/11 inspired the expansion of the security state.
Yes.
I guess it's not, because 9/11 did happen.
Yeah, 9/11 happened.
The Russian thing did not happen. Yeah.
Right. But they used 9/11 to bring in a security state and a surveillance state, which we now live under. You know, the government collects every one of your texts, emails, and telephone calls. Your telephone calls. They've got them. Okay.
Well, luckily they've got me trained to give all that stuff away of my own accord every chance I can.
That's right. While the Department of Homeland Security in its products pans permissive social media, the wordings that Matt Taibbi uses is often not helpful. While the Department of Homeland Security in its products pans permissive social media for offering operational advantages to Russians, it also explains that the domestic violent extremist threat requires addressing information gaps. Okay. The FBI in one case sent over so many possible violative content reports that Twitter personnel congratulated each other in the Slack for the monumental undertaking of reviewing them. This is unfreaking believable.
It's amazing that they actually would read this many lame tweets, but in government they will not read the 41,000.
They're not going to read the budget. Yeah. There were multiple points of entry into Twitter for government flagged reports. This letter from Agent Chan to Roth references Teleporter. That's a platform through which Twitter could receive reports from the FBI. Reports also came from different agencies. Here, an employee recommends bouncing content based on evidence from the Department of Homeland Security. State governments also flagged content. Twitter, for instance, received reports via the Partner Support Portal, an outlet created by the Center for Internet Security, a partner organization to the Department of Homeland Security. Why was no action taken? Below, Twitter execs receiving an alert from the California officials by way of our Partner Support Portal debate whether to act on a Trump tweet. And that's them debating it. California hired a pure Sleepy Joe Democrat firm to count and harvest votes. No way Republicans get a fair shake. Lawyers, get started. GOP leader, California is in big trouble. Vote Trump and watch the greatest comeback of them all. Also, New York and Illinois, go for it. So that's what they're talking about. Here, a video was reported by the Election Integrity Project at Stanford. Apparently on the strength of information from the Center for Internet Security. If that's confusing, it's because the Center for Internet Security and the Department of Homeland Security contractor describes itself as partners with the Cyber and Internet Security Agency, CISA, at the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, great. They're outsourcing it. Well,
Yes.
that's how we get some of our best viruses.
The EIP is one of a series of government-affiliated think tanks that mass review content, a list that also includes the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensics Research Laboratory and the University of Washington Center for Informed Policy. The takeaway, what most people think of as the deep state, is really a tangled collaboration of state agencies, private contractors, and sometimes state-funded non-governmental organizations. The lines become so blurred as to be meaningless. Good to know the FBI spends its time flagging joke tweets for Twitter employees rather than investigating reports of Larry Nassar being a serial pedophile. They did nothing for over a year on that one from the first report.
On purpose.
On purpose, but they're on these Twitter reports. Alex Berenson says, most interesting segment of the Twitter file so far, if you don't think the FBI needs serious layoffs, consider that they had 80 agents flagging election jokes.
You know, I see why those agents covered up those molestations. They really want to get a better job working for Larry Nassar.
Yes. Again, the suppression of dissenting voices on social media was not just private companies deciding what they allow. The federal government was and is directing them to suppress anything you say that the government doesn't want you to say. That's what's happening, and that's why Jack and that VJJ lied their fucking asses off when they went on Joe Rogan and lied their asses off every day of their life.
You know, the worst part
The people who were actually spreading misinformation, Kurt, were the people running Twitter. They were lying to us.
You weren't even getting... The government wasn't even personally censoring. They were outsourcing. Like, you don't even get that level of customer service in the government.
Right.
They outsource to some prick company or a think tank to do it. It's really amazing, man.
Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, December 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And we're going to be in Tempe, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets. See you there.